Thank you for joining us. Ukraine's president says a mass grave has been found in the northeastern city of Izyum. The city is in the Kyiv region. Ukraine's forces recaptured it from Russia earlier this month. A local police official said 440 bodies have been located across the region. The bodies will be exhumed for forensic examination.
На Харківщині знайдене масове захоронення людей.
Mass graves were found in Izyum in the Kyiv region. The necessary legal proceedings have already been initiated there. There should be more information, clear and verified, tomorrow. Tomorrow there will be Ukrainian and international journalists in Izyum. We want the world to know what is really happening and what the Russian occupation has led to. Bucha, Mariupol, now, unfortunately, Izyum. Russia leaves death everywhere and must be held accountable for it. The world must bring Russia to real responsibility for this war. We will do everything for this.
Let's bring in Al Jazeera's Gabriel Elizondo in Kyiv for us. Gabe, not the first time that mass graves are reported to have been found after the retreat of Russian forces. What more are you hearing about this one in Izyum?
Well, officials there in Izyum are now going through this mass grave area. Forensic experts are there on scene right now. They say that they are going to go through and exhume every single site and examine every single remains that they can find to try to figure out names, ages, identities, to get to the bottom of this. The officials there are already signaling that they believe these are all civilians. And they also are signaling, at least early on in this investigation, that there are potentially women and children among the dead. This was a site in Izyum in a forested area. What they found were wooden crosses with no names on them, unmarked graves, only numbers on all of the crosses. This comes as Ukrainian reintegration forces. These are people that come in after the military has swept through and retaken towns and villages from the Russians. Then another group of Ukrainian officials comes through to try to reestablish services to cities that have been reclaimed by the Ukrainians. And now these are the officials that have discovered these mass graves, or potential mass graves. Now, Moscow has not commented so far on these claims by the Ukrainians, but in the past, Moscow has said, the Russians have said that they do not target civilians and they do not participate in war crimes. But the Ukrainians are already pointing to situations such as Bucha, the town right outside of Kyiv, where more than 458 bodies were found of Ukrainians, all civilians, after the Russians were pushed out of that area early on in this war. They also point to more than 20,000 civilians and military that were killed in Mariupol in the south during a weeks-long Russian siege of that city, a city that the Russians still control. Clearly now the focus is on these deaths in Izyum, and we expect to have more information on Friday because the president of Ukraine, as you just heard, Volodymyr Zelensky, said that they are urgently trying to get information and figure out how these people died and release that information to Ukrainians and to the world.
And we will come back to you, of course, throughout the day, Gabriel Elizondo in Kyiv with the latest on that story. Thank you for the moment. Meanwhile, Ukrainian